In Turkey, revolutionary prisoners continue to resist SR and Y-type prisons. Prisoners themselves call them pit-type prisons because they feel like they're at the bottom of a pit. In these prisons, which were introduced several years ago by fascist regime in Turkey, prisoners are deprived of sunlight, fresh air, and even basic human interaction. Prisoners are held in 3 by 4-meter cells 23 hours a day, deprived of live communication, even with the guards. In total isolation rapidly deteriorates the prisoner's health and personality. Solitary confinement is permitted by both international law and Turkish domestic law only for short periods as an additional punishment. However, prisoners in Turkey are locked in solitary confinement for years, often even before a court decision. Imperialism attempted to isolate and exterminate revolutionaries firstly in F-type prisons opened in 2000 following the December 19-22 prison massacres. Revolutionary prisoners responded to this attack with 7-year death pass resistance. For 7 years, day after day, hundreds of prisoners built barricades of their own bodies against isolation. By resisting and sacrificing 122 martyrs, revolutionary prisoners defeated NATO-imposed isolation in F-type prisons. Failing in F-type prisons, imperialism launched an attack with pit-type prisons. Unable to suppress the revolutionaries, imperialism threw them to the bottom of the pit-type prisons to be exterminated. Pit-type prisons are designed to drive prisoners mad with loneliness. The windows of the pit-type prisons face north, so that the prisoners never see the sunlight. The windows are covered with several layers of bars and mesh, so tight that not even a pencil can pass through. The cells are kept dry, unventilated, and constantly damp. To increase the psychological pressure, the cells are under 24-hour video surveillance. For only 1 hour, prisoners are taken for a walk with only 2 other prisoners in the yard with 8-meter walls. For 23 hours a day, prisoners spend no sound of a human voice in a cramped and damp cell under video surveillance. Refusing to be buried alive, the revolutionary prisoners continue their glorious history of resistance to isolation and other attacks by fascism and imperialism. For over 2 years, the revolutionary prisoners have been conducting indefinite hunger strikes and death-fast resistance, demanding their transfer to non-pit type prisons, as well as the closure of SR and Y type prisons. During this time, they have achieved over 40 victories. Last week, we received a message about 3 more victories, but they came at a high price for revolutionary prisoners. In mid-April, 3 prisoners on hunger strikes, Taksin Saltici and Gürkan Türkoğlu, who had been on hunger strike for more than 260 days, as well as Hüseyin Özen, who had been on hunger strike for more than 240 days, were transferred against their will to the hospital for first medical intervention. But prisoners were not sick, they resisted isolation. On April 20, Gürkan Türkoğlu lost consciousness, and taking advantage of his helpless condition, he was subjected to forced medical intervention, being handcuffed to the bed. When Gürkan regained consciousness, he tried to pull the IV out of his hand, which deprived him of his last strength, and he could barely understand what was happening when his lawyer came to him. A wave of indignation and protest arose in response to this torture to which Gürkan Türkoğlu was subjected. As a result, fascism had to retreat and accept the demands of Gürkan, Taksin, and Hüseyin. All 3 revolutionary prisoners are currently undergoing treatment in a hospital, after which they will be transferred to a non-pit type prison. The condition of Taksin and Hussein is improving day after day. However, Gurkhan's life is in danger. After suffering tortures, he fell into a coma. Now his condition has improved somewhat, and his parents were able to send him a message that he had won. Currently, 7 political prisoners in Turkey continue hunger strike resistance against pit-type prisons and other attacks of fascism and imperialism to which they are subjected in prisons. We will continue to support the revolutionary prisoners until complete victory.